Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to continue working on my miniature to Prohm style temple to eventually grow a ficus root over temple planting. A major part of the temple construction is the column is surrounded by these large faces on all four sides. So I've already cast 3 faces with various degrees of success. And last night I created the mold for what I'm hoping is my best face yet. So let's take it out of the mold and see how it turned out. All right, here I go. I just break off this edge I added first. There we go. Oh, it's loose already. Okay, here we go. Here's the reveal. Where's the top? That's the bottom. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? There it is. So here's a look at the new face. I'll show you a close-up. Hopefully it's focusing on the face. There we go. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I made the smile. It's fairly close to the smile on the actual temples. I'll show you a quick shot of that. And then I made the eyes open, which I think is okay. Maybe a little sanding and filing to fix it up a bit. The head is a little skinny. I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, it's a good head. I'll use it. It's definitely not bad. Maybe with a little cleanup it'll look better too. So I'll get out the little files and I'll see if I can get it cleaned up a bit. All right, I'll begin working on it. So I'm going to take off some of the excess material for starters. There's quite a bit out here, especially around the ears. And again, I don't know how well this will go, but I'll try and nibble away at it carefully. And today I'll be starting to cast the walls that all these heads are attached to. So that'll be kind of exciting. I know some of the heads had, like if you see a block like this, it's like missing a block. So that might be a cool look to, if one area is severely damaged, you could just cut out the block section, like the whole stone's missing. That's a possibility anyway. Oh, there goes part of the ear. That's okay though. Most of it's there. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Now, I want to fix up the eyes in that. They're kind of a little strange looking. Let me work on that. I've got some files here. I've got a lot of my face cleaned up now, so I'll flip it over and then I'll just start flattening the back side. That should be pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat on the back. As long as it sits kind of flat like that, that's good. I was thinking maybe I should put all my lines in the pieces before I do the wall casting. It'd be easier to get kind of the saw in around it. So I better do that first. I don't think that'll take too long with the hacksaw. Work is proceeding well on cutting the sections in my face. It's going quite quickly with the hacksaw, so I'm pleased. I think that's going to work out quite nicely. I'm putting the vertical lines in now, and it's going quite well. They're looking good, I think. I got a bit of a chip off the ear here, but that's okay. I squared off the bottom chin. I didn't like it. It kind of looked funny, so I just made it square. Here's a look at my 3 faces, the better ones. So they're all carved up. There they are. Looking fairly good. My 4th face is in this tub back here, and I'm soaking it and I'm going to cement it back together. It kind of fell apart. I should have soaked the pieces the first time. So I think it'll stick a lot better this time. This is my styrofoam packaging. So if you imagine this being the temple, the faces would be attached like this to the walls. You know, 4 heads going around the whole kind of column. So there's a couple of possibilities to build the walls. One is I could build a base, and then I could, you know, make the thickness of the blocks, so I cast a rectangular piece that's hollow in the middle, cast another one, stack it on top, another one, stack it on top, so I would get sort of this kind of spacing, you know, to make the walls. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is I could carve out the styrofoam so the head sits flush with the top of the styrofoam, and then I could build up a perimeter and cast the wall in one piece. I don't think that would look as realistic because it wouldn't have the separation between the layers, and if I have it in layers, I can shift them slightly, I can cut blocks apart, I can file some blocks, you know, a little more than others, so I could get, I think, a more realistic looking temple by casting squares and then stacking them up on top of each other. So I think I'm going to go that route. I'm going to measure the width of the wall now, so I think I want to go ear to ear but leave a little bit more. So it looks like 10 centimeters would be the minimum, or about 4 inches. I'm wondering if I should go a little more. No, I'm going to keep it tight. So I think about 4 inches or about 10 centimeters will do. That'll be the size of my column. I want to keep this fairly small and light. I don't want to make it the super deluxe column that'll just take forever to build and be really heavy. So I want to keep this project kind of within realistic goals. Okay, so I'm going to lay out the base on this piece of board here. 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and not quite sure how I'm going to do this, but I'll figure it out. I also need to determine how high my layers are going to be, so it looks like about anywhere from 1.5 to 2 centimeters. These are supposed to be consistent. Let me check on this one. This will be the front face, so yeah, it looks more like 1.5 centimeters. Just slightly over is kind of about average. Okay, so I'll make my layer just over 1.5 centimeters. So, yeah. So what I need to do is I need to roll out my walls, and then I'll be casting in between them. So really I need, you know, two spacers, the right thickness, and then you run a roller over the top to flatten the clay out. That's how you do it when you're making pottery anyway. So I'll see if I can find something, 2 pieces of wood or something the right height for my layers, and then I can get these all rolled out nice and flat. I found 2 pieces of plywood that are the right height. So I'm going to lay those down. I can put my plasticine between them. I just have to let this one thaw. It was outside and it's got some ice on it, but if I put the plasticine between and then I run a roller over the top, I'll get it level and to the right height. It doesn't have to be exact, but, you know, close. So I'm going to do that. I thought about using the roller from the kitchen, but I value my life. So I'm going to use this caulking tube instead. So yeah, here we go. So I'll just roll it out. So that kind of gets the thickness to about the right thickness. So using this plasticine should allow me to get some texture in this piece. So that looks like stone, and maybe some fancy patterns in it is what I'm hoping. My next step is to lay out the length to 4 inches or about 10 centimeters. So I'll cut the end off here. Like that. It's not a very good cut on the end there. Boy. A little crooked. That's still not much better. Have to do though. Okay, and now I'll mark up my length. I'll make it a little longer to there. Or if I can just cut it with this ruler. Well, it's a little better cut than I did with a knife. Okay, so that's got one side. Let's just double check our width here with the face. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so I've got to make 4 more. So I'll keep going. I've got the outer part of the mold roughed in place. I have to seal the corners. And then I'll run a piece on the inside, so it'll be like a picture frame piece. So I'll make those pieces now. I'll just add a bit of material to the corners here. That'll hold those in place. It's looking good and secure. So I'll have to put some patterns on the inside so when I cast it, it has a fancy look to it all. I'm going to make the wall thickness about 2 centimeters. So that means I will need, it's 10 centimeters across, minus 4 gives me 6 centimeters. So I'm going to place a square in the middle. So I've got to cut it out 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So I'll do that. So it's nice the sun did come out today in the plant room. That's fantastic. So I need to cut this square. I can put it underneath here, actually on top, and trim it off to the edge of the plywood. I think that'll work. Let's try it. There's one face. 2 faces. Now, this is where I have to do some measuring. I wanted it 6 centimeters. So I'll mark it out with my blade here. There. 6 centimeters across gives me it right to there. Boy, I think I just have enough material. Okay, so I will place this edge along here. Slice that part off. I guess it doesn't matter if it's exact. It's just to make a wall thickness. But, you know, we'll try and make it as nice as we can. Okay, off to here. And that is not square. Let me square it up a bit. Whoa. There. That looks good. So that can go in the middle over here. Yeah, that can go in the center. I can cast my walls in here. And that should look pretty good. Now I've got to put some texture on the inside. Every stone in these temples is carved with really ornate patterns. You know, something like I have in my other mold here. So it'd be nice if I can find something with a nice pattern and just kind of stamp it in the side to make my walls. I'll see what I can find. I also need to kind of separate the bricks a bit, so maybe push some bricks into the sides. I'll have to think. I'll look at the pictures of the original, you know, of the real temple. Maybe that'll give me some ideas. It's quite hard finding things with ornate patterns, but I have this lid off this marker, and I'm thinking maybe if I roll it along, it'll put an interesting pattern in the side. I'll try it and see what it looks like. At least it's a texture, a fine texture. It's better than just plain walls, boring plain walls. And I'll look around to see if I can find something else. I'm going to take this out. There must be something I have that can put an interesting texture in the side. You almost like need an ornate fabric or something, or some kind of a pattern. Well, this is certainly falling apart a bit, but I'll straighten it all out before I cast it. I think that's enough of a pattern for the first piece. I'll try it and see how it works, and then I'll try and find some fancier patterns later on for some of the other ones. I've got the mold all ready. I kind of put plasticine along the sides to hold everything in place. So I'm ready to cast my cement in now, so I'll have to mix up some cement. I noticed when I mix the cement, if I mix it fairly thickly, it's not as tough as a thinner mix, and it doesn't pour as nicely into the mold. So I'm going to try and mix up my cement a little on the runny side, and that seems to work the best for both strength and going into the mold. All right, here I go. I'll add my cement in here. I gotta make it fairly runny, so. So now I'll start pouring it into the mold. Here I go. Come on. Let's see if I mixed up the right amount or not. I'm guessing no. So I need to mix up more cement, so I'll do that right now, real quick. Okay, I got some more runny cement mixed up, so in it goes. So I gotta get the top fairly level. I'll use my hand because it's got to mate with the next section. The flatter it is, the better it'll look. I don't want great big gaps between my sections. It's got to look precision. That is starting to set for sure. You don't get a lot of working time with this stuff. Okay, that is it. That's all I can do. I'm sure there's some big air gaps in there. I'll try, my second one, I'll try and be better on the cement work. I think it's the kind of thing that, you know, practice makes perfect. I've got one segment cast, and I need at least 6 for the height of the head, and I probably want 1 or 2 above and 1 or 2 below, so I've got a lot of casting ahead of me. So I think I'll just do it over the next few days, and I'll just, we'll come back to this project when I've got all my casting completed and it's ready for assembly. So in the meantime, I'll go on to other bonsai videos. So we'll come back tonight and I'll take this out of the mold and we'll see how it looks. And yeah, that'll be exciting to see if it turned out. So I'll see you later on tonight. Well, it's dark outside later on in the evening. I think this is dry enough that I can take it out of the mold and see what it looks like. So here I go. Maybe I'll use the ruler. Seems to work well. So I'll pop that section out first. That'll give me a little relief in there. And then I can cut through the wall like that and try and peel it away on the inside. It's coming. There we go. Okay, there it is. So that is piece number 1. Wow. Well, it seems solid enough. It's a good piece. So the heads, this is my other head I repaired, my terrible head. I'm going to do some filing to try and save it, make it look a little better. Yeah, so they'll go on these faces once I build this up. And I'll be cutting stones in here, lines for the stone where they join. Overall, it turned out pretty good. There's a little bit here that didn't come out so well, a little rough here, but these 2 faces, 3 faces, are quite good. Yeah, not too bad. So I'm happy with that. I'll let that dry overnight and then I'll cut my grooves in it. I put my face on top of the piece I just cast just to see what it looks like. So that kind of gives you a preview of what the faces will look like on a wall eventually. Yeah. Almost makes me wonder if I should have just cast the walls like this. I could still do that. I could cast 4 walls like this and then maybe just put another one on top. Sure would make it easier. There's the back. So then I could fill this with cement to cement the head to the wall. Yeah, that might work. It might be a lot easier than casting all these separate pieces. I think this will be the right approach, casting the walls as one piece like this. I can always add decorative stones to it to make it a little fancier or carve little designs in it. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's looking very authentic, and I can imagine the day where I plant a tree root over temple planting, and I think it's going to look very authentic. I think it'll really give you that flavor of being in Cambodia. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.